Cristiano Ronaldo earns roughly $5.65 every second. Not during a match, not during a sponsorship appearance. Every second of every day, whether he's sleeping, training, or sitting in a car. That comes out to about $488,000 per day, or $178 million a year, just from his current club contract alone. Before endorsements, before business income, before the YouTube channel with nearly 80 million subscribers, before the hotels, the gyms, the AI investments, and the 15% ownership stake in the club that's paying him. Most people hear these numbers and file Ronaldo under the same category as every other wealthy athlete, a supremely talented person who got paid what the market offered. But that framing misses what's actually happening. Ronaldo didn't just get rich playing football. He engineered a financial system in which football is only the engine, and the real output is something much larger. Understanding how he built that system and what it cost him to build it reveals a story far more complex than any highlight reel can show. To understand where the money comes from, you have to understand where he came from. And where he came from shouldn't have produced any of this. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on February 5, 1985, on Madeira, a small volcanic island in the Atlantic Ocean, roughly 600 miles from mainland Portugal. His family lived in a neighborhood called Santo Antonio, in a house so modest it had a tin roof. His mother, Maria Dolores dos Santos Aveiro, worked as a cook and a cleaning lady. His father, Jose Diniz Aveiro, was a municipal gardener and a part-time equipment manager for a local football club. The family had 4 children. Cristiano was the youngest. He has an older brother, Hugo, and 2 older sisters, Elma and Liliana Katia. By most accounts, the household was defined by 2 constants: financial hardship and the destabilizing presence of his father's alcoholism. Jose Diniz drank heavily throughout Ronaldo's childhood, and the effects filtered through every layer of family life. Ronaldo has spoken about this publicly only a handful of times, and when he does, the pain is still visible. In a well-known 2015 interview, he broke down crying while watching footage of his late father, saying Jose never truly saw what his son became. Jose Diniz Aveiro died of an alcoholism-related liver condition in September 2005 at the age of 52. Ronaldo was 20 years old. He was already playing for Manchester United. He was already becoming famous. His father never got to witness the scale of what followed. His mother, on the other hand, became the emotional backbone of the entire operation. She has spoken publicly about how close she came to aborting the pregnancy. The family simply couldn't afford another child. She didn't go through with it. That decision would produce someone who has now earned over $2.1 billion in his career. But talent alone didn't explain what happened next. At age 12, Ronaldo left Madeira for Lisbon to join Sporting CP's youth academy, a 12-year-old leaving his family, his island, everything familiar, to train at a professional football academy on the mainland. By multiple accounts, he cried himself to sleep regularly during those early months. He was skinny, had a thick Madeiran accent that other kids mocked, and he was homesick in a way that's hard to overstate for a child that age. Then, at 15, came a development that nearly ended everything before it began. He was diagnosed with a heart condition called tachycardia. His heart would race uncontrollably, even at rest. He underwent a procedure using a catheter to cauterize the area causing the problem. It worked. He was back in training within days. Most people don't know this part of the story. The greatest goal scorer in football history almost lost the ability to play the game because of a defective heart. By 17, he was on Sporting's first team, and that's when the pivotal moment arrived. In August 2003, Sporting played a preseason friendly against Manchester United. The Sporting players, including the teenage Ronaldo, ran circles around United's squad. After the match, several United players, veterans like Rio Ferdinand and Roy Keane, reportedly told manager Sir Alex Ferguson they had to sign the kid. Ferguson didn't hesitate. Within days, Manchester United paid roughly £12 million to bring an 18-year-old from Lisbon to Old Trafford. For context, Chelsea had reportedly been offered Ronaldo earlier for around €3.5 million and passed. That may be the most expensive no in football history. Now here's where the standard biography usually turns into a highlight montage. The goals, the trophies, the awards. And those numbers are staggering, but listing them without context misses the architecture. So let's put the career into structural terms. Ronaldo has scored approximately 976 career goals across all competitions as of mid-2025. That makes him the highest scoring player in the history of professional football. He holds the record for most goals in the UEFA Champions League with 140. He holds the record for most international goals ever scored by a male player, with 146 for Portugal in 233 appearances. He's won 5 Ballon d'Or awards, 5 Champions League titles, 7 league championships across 3 different countries, the English Premier League, Spain's La Liga, and Italy's Serie A, plus a European Championship with Portugal in 2016 and 2 UEFA Nations League titles. His total career trophy count sits at around 35 major honors. Those are objective records. They are not debated. What is debated, endlessly, obsessively, and probably until the end of time, is whether those records make him the greatest footballer ever, because the other candidate for that title has his own absurd set of numbers. Lionel Messi. The rivalry between these two has defined an entire era of the sport, spanning nearly 2 decades. It's worth understanding not just as a football debate, but as a case study in how two fundamentally different approaches to the same craft can both reach the summit and yet produce entirely different perceptions. Messi has scored approximately 919 career goals to Ronaldo's 976, but Ronaldo has played about 166 more matches, which means Messi's per-game scoring rate is marginally better. Messi has 46 major trophies to Ronaldo's 35. That gap is significant, and a large part of it comes from one trophy in particular, the 2022 World Cup, which Messi won and Ronaldo has never captured. Messi has 8 Ballon d'Or awards to Ronaldo's 5. In head-to-head competitive matches, Messi leads with 16 wins to Ronaldo's 11, with 9 draws, and Messi holds a slight edge in goals scored in those direct encounters, 22-21. But the numbers alone don't capture what makes this rivalry so structurally interesting. It's really a debate about two different kinds of excellence. Messi's game is widely described as instinctive, organic, almost supernatural in its fluidity. Ronaldo's game is widely described as manufactured, built through obsessive physical conditioning, relentless training, and an almost frightening refusal to accept physical decline. Messi is the argument for genius. Ronaldo is the argument for will, and that distinction matters far beyond football, because while Messi may hold the edge in certain on-pitch metrics, Ronaldo has built something off the pitch that Messi hasn't matched, a personal brand that operates like a standalone corporation. Consider the social media landscape. Ronaldo became the first individual human being in history to reach 1 billion followers across social media platforms, a milestone he hit in September 2024. That's Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube combined. On Instagram alone, he has surpassed 640 million followers. When he launched his YouTube channel, You Are Cristiano, in August 2024, it broke the platform record for the fastest channel to reach 1 million subscribers. It took about 90 minutes. The channel now has roughly 80 million subscribers. These are not vanity metrics. They are revenue infrastructure. Reports estimate that a single sponsored post on Ronaldo's Instagram commands roughly $3.5 million. That means one photograph with a product visible can generate more income than most people earn in a lifetime. And he can do that multiple times a month without it feeling like saturation, because the audience is so enormous that each post reaches hundreds of millions of people regardless. This is the hidden mechanism most people miss about Ronaldo. The football is the input, the attention is the output, and the attention is what everything else is built on. His lifetime deal with Nike, reported to be worth up to $1 billion over its duration, was signed based on this logic. Nike didn't pay for a footballer. They paid for the most followed human being on earth wearing their logo. His other endorsement partnerships with Binance, Herbalife, Therabody, and others operate on the same principle. Ronaldo doesn't endorse products the way athletes traditionally endorse products. He distributes them through his own media ecosystem. And then there's the business empire, which is where the Ronaldo story stops being a sports story and becomes a corporate case study. The CR7 brand encompasses a sprawling portfolio. There's CR7 Crunch Fitness, a chain of gyms operating across Portugal and Spain, built around his training philosophy. There's the Pastana CR7 hotel chain, a joint venture with Madeira-based Pastana Hotel Group, now operating luxury hotels in Funchal, Lisbon, Madrid, Marrakesh, and New York's Times Square. There's the CR7 fashion and lifestyle line, clothing, underwear, denim, fragrances, footwear. There's Inspiria, a chain of hair treatment and medical clinics in Spain and Portugal, in which Ronaldo holds an ownership stake. In 2025, he launched a movie production studio called UR Marv with British filmmaker Matthew Vaughn. He invested in Paddle City, a sports complex in Lisbon. He bought a 10% stake in Vista Alegre, a centuries-old Portuguese porcelain and crystal company. He invested in WOW FC, a new MMA promotion co-owned with fighter Ilia Topuria, targeting the Middle East combat sports market, and his investment portfolio is pushed into technology. He took a stake in Whoop, the health and fitness wearable company, and participated in its $575 million funding round in early 2026, which valued the startup at $10.1 billion. He invested in Perplexity, the AI search engine startup, at a reported $20 billion valuation, and in February 2026 he acquired a 25% stake in UD Almeria, a second division Spanish football club. Each of these investments follows a clear logic: leverage the the attention generated by football, convert it into brand equity, then convert that brand equity into ownership positions. He isn't just spending money, he's building a portfolio designed to generate returns long after he stops playing. But to understand the most counterintuitive chapter of this story, you have to go back to the lowest point. In the fall of 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo was 37 years old, sitting on Manchester United's bench, watching younger players take his starting spot under manager Erik ten Hag. For a man who had been the centerpiece of every team he'd ever played for, this was not merely a tactical decision. It was an existential challenge, and Ronaldo handled it the way Ronaldo handles most things, by going nuclear. In November 2022, just before the World Cup in Qatar, Ronaldo sat down for a bombshell interview with Piers Morgan and publicly eviscerated Manchester United. He said he felt betrayed by the club. He criticized the Glazer family's ownership. He said the club had made zero progress since Ferguson left. He implied ten Hag didn't respect him. Within days, Manchester United and Ronaldo mutually terminated his contract. He was, briefly, an unemployed 37-year-old footballer. The conventional reading of this moment was, Ronaldo's career is over. The ego finally caught up with him. He burned his last bridge. This is the beginning of the end. The conventional reading was wrong. What actually happened was the beginning of the most financially productive period in the history of professional sports. In January 2023, Ronaldo signed with Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League. The initial reaction from the football world was somewhere between pity and contempt. Saudi Arabia was seen as a retirement league, a place where aging stars went to collect inflated paychecks while fading from relevance. The assumption was that Ronaldo had traded his legacy for money, but the numbers tell a radically different story. Ronaldo's Al Nassr contract reportedly pays him over $200 million annually. Saudi Arabia has no personal income tax, zero, meaning Ronaldo keeps essentially all of his on-field earnings, a situation that simply does not exist in England, Spain, or Italy, where top marginal tax rates range from 45 to over 50%. In purely financial terms, moving to Saudi Arabia didn't diminish Ronaldo's earning power. It roughly doubled his effective take-home pay compared to what he was making in Europe. And here's the part that really defies the narrative of decline. Ronaldo didn't lose his audience. He gained more. His social media following continued to grow after the move. His YouTube channel launched a year into his Saudi tenure and became the fastest-growing personal channel in the platform's history. His endorsement portfolio remained intact. The brands didn't leave because the brands weren't paying for Premier League exposure. They were paying for access to 1 billion people. The thing that looked like a step down was actually a step sideways into a completely different economic structure, one where the salary is higher, the tax burden is lower, the attention machine keeps working, and the business empire keeps compounding. In June 2025, Ronaldo renewed his Al Nassr contract with even more extraordinary terms, approximately $245 million in annual salary, a signing bonus north of $33 million, and, critically, a 15% ownership stake in the club itself, reportedly valued at around $45 million. He's no longer just playing for Al Nassr. He partially owns it. That's not an athlete's contract. That's a founder's deal. It's worth stepping back to put these earnings into comparative context. Forbes reported in 2026 that Ronaldo has now surpassed $2.1 billion in total career earnings, the first active athlete ever to cross the $2 billion threshold. His career on-field income alone is estimated at $1.4 billion. The only athletes in history who have earned more in total are Michael Jordan at approximately $4.5 billion, the vast majority from Nike royalties and the Charlotte Hornets sale, and Tiger Woods at roughly $2.88 billion. Ronaldo is third on the all-time list and climbing. LeBron James sits fourth at about $2.03 billion. Messi trails Ronaldo at approximately $1.8 billion. But here's the critical difference. Jordan's billions came mostly after his playing career, through decades of Nike royalty payments. Woods' billions accumulated over 30 years of endorsements in a sport built around individual branding. Ronaldo is doing this while still playing, at 41 years old, in a team sport where the average career ends around 35. The wealth comparison extends beyond athletes. Ronaldo's estimated net worth of $1.2 billion makes him one of only 4 active athletes who are billionaires, alongside LeBron James, Tiger Woods, and Messi, who also crossed the $1 billion threshold according to Forbes in 2026. David Beckham recently joined this group as well, largely through his Inter Miami ownership stake. Ronaldo is reportedly now the second richest person in Portugal, a country with a GDP of about $300 billion. One footballer's personal wealth represents roughly 0.4% of his entire nation's economic output. Now, to be clear about the full picture, Ronaldo's financial story is not without its complications. In 2019, he agreed to pay an €18.8 million fine to settle Spanish tax fraud charges. The accusation was that during his Real Madrid years, he had used a network of offshore companies to avoid paying at least €14.7 million in taxes on image rights income. He accepted a suspended 2-year prison sentence, which in Spain means no jail time for first-time offenses under 2 years, and paid the fine. This is not a minor footnote. Messi faced a similar situation in Spain, receiving his own conviction and fine for tax offenses. The pattern suggests a broader systemic issue in how elite athletes' image rights income is structured and taxed in Spain, but the individual responsibility remains real. There was also the Catherine Mayorga civil lawsuit. In 2018, Mayorga alleged that Ronaldo had sexually assaulted her in Las Vegas in 2009 and that she had signed a non-disclosure agreement and received a $375,000 settlement at the time. Ronaldo has always denied the allegation. In June 2022, a U.S. federal judge dismissed the civil lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled because Mayorga's attorney had relied on leaked and stolen attorney-client privilege documents to build the case. Ronaldo was subsequently awarded legal fees compensation. The dismissal was procedural, not a ruling on the underlying claim, which is an important distinction. No criminal charges were ever filed. These chapters are part of the record. Excluding them would be dishonest, but they also haven't materially dented his commercial machinery, which tells you something important about how brand power works at this scale. When you have 1 billion followers, the narrative is so vast that individual controversies get absorbed rather than amplified. The machine is too large to be stopped by any single event, which brings us to the question of competition. Not just Messi, but the next generation. Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland are the two players most frequently positioned as the heirs to the Ronaldo-Messi era. Mbappe moved to Real Madrid in 2024 with enormous expectations. Haaland has been shattering goal-scoring records at Manchester City. Both are extraordinary talents. Both are in their mid-20s. Both have decades of earning potential ahead, but neither has come close to building what Ronaldo has built off the pitch. Mbappe's Instagram following is a fraction of Ronaldo's. Haaland's brand deals are substantial, but not yet in the same tier. The reason isn't just time, it's approach. Ronaldo didn't wait for his brand to grow organically. He architected it. Every Instagram post, every business venture, every public appearance was a deliberate investment in the attention economy. Mbappe and Haaland may eventually reach similar heights, but they're starting the corporate construction project at a time when the blueprint already exists, and Ronaldo wrote it. And then there's the family dimension, which Ronaldo has turned into yet another layer of the brand. He has 5 children. His eldest, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., was born in 2010 via a surrogate. The identity of the mother has never been publicly confirmed. In 2017, twin children Eva and Mateo were also born via surrogacy. His partner, Georgina Rodriguez, a Spanish-Argentine model, gave birth to their daughter Alana Martina in November 2017. In April 2022, Georgina gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. The boy did not survive childbirth. The family named the surviving daughter Bella Esmeralda. Ronaldo publicly shared the news, describing it as the greatest pain a parent can feel. Georgina has become a public figure in her own right, with a Netflix documentary series and her own substantial social media following. The family lives as a unit that is simultaneously private and spectacularly public. The children appear on Ronaldo's social media. Cristiano Jr. is already playing in Al Nassr's youth academy. The family operates within the Ronaldo brand ecosystem, while also being, by all appearances, a genuinely close household. So what is Ronaldo really? If you strip away the goals, the trophies, the debates about greatest of all time status, what's left? What's left is a machine, a system that a 12-year-old boy from a tin-roofed house on a volcanic island began building, consciously or not, when he left his family and cried himself to sleep in Lisbon. Every step from that point forward has been a conversion process, converting physical talent into football performance, converting football performance into global attention, converting global attention into brand equity, converting brand equity into business ownership, converting business ownership into generational wealth. Consider the Coca-Cola incident from Euro 2020 and 2021. At a press conference, Ronaldo moved 2 Coca-Cola bottles away from his seat, held up a bottle of water, and said, "Agua," water. It was a 2-second gesture. Coca-Cola's share price dropped 1.6% that day, a decline in market value of roughly $4 billion. Financial analysts debated whether the drop was causation or coincidence. Either way, the story dominated global news for days. systmise. A man moved a bottle. $4 billion in market value shifted. That's not athletic fame. That's something closer to economic gravity. The best case scenario for Ronaldo's remaining career is relatively straightforward. He reaches 1,000 career goals, a milestone he has publicly stated he's chasing. He finishes his playing career at Al Nassr, perhaps with a Saudi Pro League championship already secured. The team won the 2026 title. He transitions fully into his business empire, which continues to compound. His investments in AI, technology, and sports ownership appreciate. He becomes one of the wealthiest self-made individuals in European history, period. Not just among athletes. The Ronaldo brand outlives Ronaldo the footballer by decades. The realistic successful outcome is nearly identical because most of the infrastructure is already built. Even if Ronaldo retired tomorrow, the endorsement deals, the Nike lifetime contract, the hotel chain, the tech investments, and the social media revenue streams would continue generating income. The football was always the catalyst. The wealth was designed to be self-sustaining. The realistic negative outcome involves the natural erosion of attention. Social media platforms change. Audiences shift to new stars. Mbappe and Haaland become the new global faces. The CR7 brand loses its cultural urgency. Investments underperform. The hotels need renovation. The gyms face competition. None of this is catastrophic. It just means the empire stabilizes rather than grows. Ronaldo becomes very wealthy and gradually less culturally relevant, which is what happens to virtually every retired athlete in history. The failure scenario is the hardest to construct because so much of the system is already locked in. The lifetime Nike deal doesn't expire. The Al Nassr ownership stake doesn't disappear. The $2.1 billion in career earnings has largely already been earned. For Ronaldo's financial empire to actually fail, multiple uncorrelated systems would have to collapse simultaneously. And even then, the floor is somewhere in the hundreds of millions. At the beginning, you heard that Ronaldo earns $5.65 every second. That sounded like a story about an overpaid athlete. It isn't. It's the story of a kid who almost wasn't born, who almost lost his career to a heart condition at 15, who lost his father to alcoholism at 20, who was mocked for his accent, who cried alone in a dormitory in Lisbon, and who responded to all of it not with acceptance, but with a systematic, relentless, decades-long campaign to convert every disadvantage into leverage and every form of attention into equity. The popular debate asks whether Ronaldo is the greatest footballer of all time. That's the wrong question. The right question is whether any athlete in history has ever been more deliberate about turning what they do on a field into what they own off of it. And by that measure, there is no debate at all. Ronaldo's real legacy isn't the 976 goals. It's the proof that decline in the right system is just another form of raw material.